So welcome everyone. It's lovely to have you here. As you can see, there's a few people from ATTRACTISS here, which kind of makes sense because this is part of our WoW webinars, which is a joint series of webinars we work with Modern ATTRACTISS, and we'll talk about it in a second, a little bit more. But Maria, if you want to move to the next one, today we're going to be talking all things operational groups, but not only experiences, which as you can see, Lola and Nico will be presenting first, and then Gustav's going to be presenting after, but also want to share how to do it well. And so Simona will be with us. So to make all of that, first, there's going to be a short introduction about what ATTRACTISS is all about so that you can learn a little bit more about the project. Then we're going to be focusing on how to support operational groups through the experience in Spain, in the south of Spain, that Nico and Lola have. Then we're going to go to the practical side of things with the tool that Simona from NSB project in Italy will be sharing. And then finally, Gustav, who is coming all the way from Hungary, will be sharing his experience in the field. There will be time for questions, there will be time for comments, but also please feel free to use the chat as much as you want. It's your space to ask any questions and talk about things. We'll be monitoring the muting. So it's all good. If you want to be on the video, keep your camera on. If you don't, just turn it off, because this will be recorded and shared afterwards. So if there's any places that you're like, I would like to revisit this part of the conversation, you will be able to. So if you could, do you want me to take over the screen, Maria? I can. Oh, well. I'm going to have a moment here. But we wanted to...
I can.
Yeah, I took over. I'm horrible.
Good.
So before we start, we just wanted to highlight a little bit about the projects that we're working with, because one, because it might be interesting. It's actually very practical, and the whole point is that these are what we call service projects, which means that it's projects that are here to help you make things happen. So ATTRACTISS in particular, we'll talk about it in a wee second, but what we're trying to do through the WoW series of webinars is to provide you with the support to both understand and make things happen within the ATTRACTISS. So the whole point is strengthening the ATTRACTISS. These are monthly events, so if you keep an eye on our events website, you will find them. And it's a space to explore this practical strategy, skills, both on a super practical level, that's all the ATTRACTISS ones, very much on what's happening on the ground. And then through the Modern ATTRACTISS, we explore a little bit more the holistic, how the system works. So we invite you to keep an eye, and we will also be sharing potential new events with you all the time. But why is ATTRACTISS? Because today we're in ATTRACTISS one. ATTRACTISS is a project that aims to improve and embed competencies and approaches and just make things super easy for you to, in practice, be able to implement interactive innovation. And so by doing that, making sure that the things that are being developed, the innovation that's being developed actually responds to the challenges on the ground. So we're trying to make sure that everything is very farmer or user-led, and then providing the people in between the innovation support services that help these ideas become actual solutions to make it happen on the ground. As I mentioned, we're a service project, which means that we try to give you all the tools so that you can go out and do it. So you can see a few of the ways that we're doing it. We've created a network. If you go to the website, you can actually register for a network. In the ATTRACTISS Connect website, you can find people from all over Europe and connect with them. We're also trying to train trainers. So this is an opportunity for anyone who wants to. We're providing pretty much annual in-person events, 2-day events, where we explore tools and ways of actually making innovation support services, helping innovation support services do the work on the ground. There's a fantastic toolbox. You don't have to start from scratch. Marlene here and her team have developed the most amazing toolbox full of ideas of how to engage people, explore ideas, and disseminate your results. And we'll also be having workshops, exchange visits, and of course, there will be practice abstracts for you to explore a little bit what we've been learning. All this we're going to share with you, all the relevant links in the follow-up email. So if you're interested, please check that. And we're here to support you. So if at any point you need a little bit of help and you're not sure how to do it, just shoot us a mail. We'll be happy to help. As I mentioned, the best way at the moment is to do it via the mail, via the platform, accissconnect.eu, where you can find people from all over Europe that are interested in this topic, where you can find the toolbox, events, and very, very recently, we've also activated our forum space where you can actually start conversations and connect with other people. And that we hope will grow as the project continues to develop. That's the little frame, but I think that enough of this. It's way more interesting to hear the people that are doing things on the ground. So if you will, I think I'm going to pass it to the amazing Lola and Nico for them to take over.
Hi, everybody. We are in Spain. We are from the Agri-Food Campus of International Excellence, and we want to introduce our experience in operational.
Yes.
Could you see our
Okay, and then presentation mode. Perfect.
could you see the presentation?
Yes. Looks good.
Okay. Okay. Well, in this occasion, we want to introduce the innovation support services in the operational group, and with the success case of the Agri-Food Campus. At the beginning, we want to start with this sentence. I think it's very strong. The innovation in agriculture doesn't happen in labs; it happens in network. And in this network, the role of innovation support services, we think it's so important. But we want to introduce the framework of the Agri-Food Campus and the ECIS in the idea of the ECIS in Europe. Well, the ECIS is integrated by different agents, the academia, the society, the government, the industry, but the concept of ECIS include not only the actors, it includes their interaction, the interaction between the different actors. And this interaction, it happened with the role of the innovation support services. So we think these actors is so relevant because they promote the interaction between government, industry, farmers, academia, researchers, and of course the society. And these innovation support services, for example, are so important, for example, to dynamize the bottom-up project and the multi-actor approach. In this framework, we are focused our presentation in the operational group. Well, we want to show this slide, but because the innovation support services is including different, the reference of the innovation support services is included in different regulations, and we think it will be so important, and ATTRACTISS is working to defend the interests of the innovation support services in the next regulation. So, well. Now we want to introduce our institution, our organization. We are the Agri-Food Campus of International Excellence. We are a consortium of 5 universities, Andalusian universities, and we have the management entity, and we are innovation support services. We participate in the ATTRACTISS project, and we have also an active role in the focus group of the dynamized by the coordination body of the ACTS in Spain. Well, our main role of the innovation of the Agri-Food Campus is to promote the interconnection between Agri-Food Campus and with the universities. And we thought that one of the main instruments to promote this interconnection is the operational groups. Well, in this framework, we detect the agri-food sector needs, and we promote the participation in innovation projects through operational groups. The operational group, we have innovative projects, and what are the operational groups? Well, it's a group of different actors of the ATTRACTISS integrated by, for example, advisors, researchers, farmers, NGOs, agribusiness, and in a bottom-up model with a white paper. The farmer show their needs, and the researchers, the advisor, all the artists integrant develop a innovation project to give the solution. And in this innovation project, in this operational group, is very important the role of the innovation support service. In our case, we identify for example, the needs of the farmers. We support in the integration of the operational group. We act as secretary of the project. We support in the planning and in communication, and we give an umbrella of the researchers to promote the participation of our researchers of our universities. In this framework, we have participated in 26 operational groups, a regional and national operational group, and we have dynamized about 7 or 8 million of euros in the last year. We want to introduce our role in these phases of the operational group with the idea of the spiral of innovation, and we want to link with the function of the innovation support services. It's important to highlight that the role of the innovation support services, we think, is not at the beginning or at the end, it's along the spiral of innovation. And my colleague Nico is going to introduce
this point. Thank you, Lola, for your introduction and for making this visualization of the different roles that ISS has in the projects. And now we are going deeper, in particular cases, success cases of operational groups in which we can see the role that an ISS is performing in them. So we have this, as mentioned, Lola, innovation spiral, from the idea generation to the proposal development, implementation, dissemination, and evaluation and impact. And according to the handbook of ISS, which is published in the ATTRACTISS website, we have the different roles. That was written by different members of the project of ATTRACTISS. One function, here we have divided in different boxes, the 7 different functions that goes from knowledge and dissemination, advisory and coaching, demand articulation, making networking and facilitation, capacity building, access to resources and institutional scaling, and embedding this innovation in the ecosystem. And we have identified that the most performed roles, in the case of our operational groups, are the knowledge and dissemination, advisory and coaching, and network and facilitation. This is the reason, because they are in deep green, right? Using this diagram, we can see the different functions mentioned before, and how are connected with the spiral. So from the starting process of getting the idea, so identifying the needs of farmers, grassroots innovations from farmers. This is essential for being able to board, no, the operational group, as is in the regulation. So this is starting point. We need this kind of coaches, advisors that helps to identify these needs and translate it into projects, right? And then we go for a second stage, we will go for more advice, consultancy, and support for identifying funding schemes to give which network of players, no, of actors, in this case of the ATTRACTISS, will need to be inside. So articulation of demands would be ISS3. The planification is essential, making chronograms, project management, how to make it financially available will be part of the planning, no, and all the functions of the ISS are involved in this. And then go through the development phase to, we know of the importance of the capacity building and making trainings and also effective communication through different stakeholders. So this is essential. The correct execution of the projects. Now, many times you know that there is we need internal communication, we need to adjust budget, we need to move to make some changes, and this consultancy, accompaniment, demand articulation, and information intermediation skills are essential. And when the project is done and the results are achieved, then we go through the dissemination. Although dissemination is starting from the beginning, this spiral is an example, but we can say also that when the results are there, it's important to make it applicable, no, through practice abstract, networking events, workshops, and different demo sites, if this is the case, and a final step of scaling up and making it available for the community. No? So we think here we visualize, no, in a very practical manner how the functions are related to the practical issues of a project, because many times we see with no connection, but in this case, I think this is very, very visual, no? As also Lola was commenting on the different operational groups and the different years that we have been performing as an ISS, starting from projects related more with bioeconomy, with increasing the efficiency of the wine production, animal feed, efficient irrigation, also the use of biodiversity measures according to the eco schemes, like other projects are aligned, with the new regulatory issues, the use of apps for following the crops, and the digitalization of the olive oil sector. This is a panoramic view, and this can be translated into a network. And we reinforce the sentence that Lola was mentioning at the beginning. Innovation happens in networks, and we think that operational groups has achieved this network through the years, not only with the university, but also with we say, sorry for the lack of the translation here, but it's a Association of Cooperative of Andalusia Research Institute, small farmers also represented by the dots here. And this has now been achieved since 2016 up to now. The evolution of the ecosystem has experienced a huge increase. And now the last call that was last February, if I don't remember, well, it has been, the sector is pushing. At the beginning, the researchers were pushing to present the proposals to the call, but now the thing has been inverted in the sense that now the farmers, the cooperatives are pushing in this case, the knowledge actors.
Yes, and there are in the last call, there are 200 proposal of regional operational group in Andalusia. Well, I think it is a success.
Yeah, we have seen this evolution from the beginning. So
Nico, you're muted. I don't know what happened.
sorry. Thank you, Anna, for the puntualization. So now we are entering here in the last 5 minutes that we have. We don't want to be delayed. So the different roads, no? For example, here we can see the road, but for the car to go through the road, we need this active scouting, listening of the real needs of the farmers, identifying what are the gaps, no, in the current R&D research databases, and what research group can work for this knowledge exchange, and also very important on how to fund, because sometimes could be in the way of operational groups, which are focusing this session, but others could be other type of funding that we are not going to enter today, no? But the importance of building trust, no, and detecting real needs of the sector is crucial. And this doesn't happen from one day to another, but through a period of time in which you see the role of impartiality and the role of independency of economic interest, right? On the other hand, when we go for the second phase, no, from the idea to a fundable project, is to make it happen, or identify this funding mechanism, assemble a consortium that is complementary and match the different actors which are critical for the correct application of the project, the technical drafting, the proposal, budgets, KPIs, timelines, work plans. They need a backup office, no, to be able to deal with all these project management issues that nowadays probably not the farmer, not the research component have the time for doing that. No, and yesterday we were in a day at the ministry, and the role of in other European countries is also very clear, like Chagas in Ireland, CLZLTO in the Netherlands, ProAgra in Finland, the Solar Association in the UK. So we see that this type of institution are there and are helping to make things happen, right? Going forward to running the project, coordination, trust, and troubleshooting. No, there are many unforeseen things, and here with this graphic, we try to visualize it. No, you have the project, but many things are coming out from there which are distracting for the correct application, execution of the project, and to make it possible. No, we have been talking about we didn't talk about, we should have about the bureaucracy, unforeseen climate issues that are happening in the project that are affecting the execution. For example, when it's coming a drought or it's coming a very rainy season, and you have to deal, no, and cope with with delays, and also the part of the justification, no, to justify the in this case the financial aid. So we need this administrative umbrella, these people that are silent, and they're probably you don't see in the pictures of the operational group, you don't see but they are there working hard for making it possible to make the project, no? So this implementation, and I think this role is essential, and many times is let's say infravalued. And finally, results need to be accessible to everyone. There is a very big effort from the UCAP network of doing this database that covers all the operational groups across the different projects in Europe, and going towards demo sites, towards webinars in practice, participating trade fairs, now going towards more effective communication schemes, sorry for the, and doing more workshop in present practice after that we're working also in ATTRACTISS. So going through from passive consumption towards more active and interactive innovation schemes, no? And this has been it's a backbone, no, of operational groups also. And finally, this multiplier effect, the European contribution through these databases, through the UCAM network, through the exchange of practices among countries and regions, and they are there is this network that is essential to be connected. Finally, we are on time. What makes an ISS effective? Evidence from the case studies that we made. It should be impartial. It should build bridges between science and policy and the farmer needs. To be able to have this administrative capacity to rely on them for the correct evolution of the project, to have this co-creation approach is essential for the solution to be developed. Facilitation skills and soft skills are critical for being able to develop the project and to have this awareness, and mindset that is helping others for the development. Ecosystem knowledge. We are part of this network, know the different actors, be connected to the different regional and national European actors, and finally long-term relationships with long-term people. Right? It's not a question of 2 years project. It's a question that you build these relationships to long last in the future. So with that, we finish with the conclusion of we thought on this reflection process. ISS must be present from the very beginning, but are not only in the beginning where they are working throughout the project. Facilitation and power skills, professional skills are needed and need to be trained. We cannot afford not to lose the trust between this network of and this connection between researchers, farmer administration, NGOs, all the different actors of the network. And the innovation spiral is now linear. It needs to flow through an agent that is able to make things work. And without this funding, with these actors inside the network, things will get more complicated. So thank you very much, and we are open for final question now at the time that is needed. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lola and Nico. Very interesting presentation and very much eye-opening also as with your role. I think we have quite many good questions and comments on the chat. I wanted to start my own question first, just to make clear. So have you been part of these consortiums yourself, as an organization? Yes, so you get the funding for being a partner.
We have been, in some of them, we have been coordinators, in some, the others, beneficiaries. Right?
Yeah, in all the projects we participate with as umbrella of university. In all these projects we participate, and our researchers of our universities participate also. And in all of them, we have the communication and the dissemination role and the interconnection between agri-food sector and researchers. In some of them, we are the representatives of the consortium, of the operational group, and in most of them, the 90%, we have the secretary of the project also, the technical secretary.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. Hannah, you had several questions in the chat. Do you want to ask yourself, or you like me to read them out?
Yes, you can read them out. You have the better English.
Nah, that's not true. So there is a question: is the work with the operational groups dedicated to the specific proposal project financed by the CAP? And as a follow-up, have you acknowledged the operational group team's interest to go further in a Horizon Europe project or something similar? So 2 questions. Did you get them?
Sorry, dedicated to a specific proposal project financed by the work with OG. We don't understand the first question. The first question.
Yeah, usually operational groups are founded to be funded by the Rural Development Plan or Common Agricultural Plan. So is there some kind of follow-up activities outside of these specific operation role needs
Will they go further?
Oh, thank you, Hannah, for your question. Yes, I mean, at the moment, you know that the CAP and the plan and the strategic plans develop the operational groups scheme, and now we are in a maturity phase, we would say. And then it seems that the path going forward is to give for example, no, a more deep weight to the dissemination, because many times with the short period of time of the projects, we don't have time to disseminate it further. So we are going towards projects that have component, no, of dissemination and living labs and demo sites more profound.
Yes, and also I think it's interesting that our role in the operational group, it's we are focused in the policy in the strategic alignment with the policies. So we have a very a strong relationship with the regional ministry to try to improve the implementation of the operational group. And also, for example, as Nico has said, we have explained that the result of the operational group in some time we have no time to disseminate the result, because the project, finished, and the result we have in the last month. So we have talking about to develop some action to promote the dissemination and the interchange of knowledge. For example, in the National Ministry of Agriculture, they have focused in this idea, and for example, to try to promote the intershare of knowledge moreover the finish of the project. And we have also the idea of reinforce our presence in the Horizon Europe, because we have the background of many operational groups, and for example, we can offer to the proposal of the thematic network. We have a lot of different operational group, livestock, olive groves, manger, and we have all these results.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. I will give the floor for Gustav to ask the question, and then we will have to continue in this point, and there will be time in the end to have more questions, and maybe Lola and Nico can look the chat in between if you can directly answer some of them. Go ahead, Gustav.
Okay, thank you very much. Hi. Yeah, I think it's an amazing job you have been doing, and I'm really jealous for Hungary, because we would really have needed something like that for our operational groups. I mean, I have two questions. One is, how do you actually make contact with these operational groups? They come to you because they know you exist, or you go and offer your services? How the cooperation starts, and like what percentage of the whole of the operational groups with you had close relationship, close support? So this is one question. And the other question is, I'm a researcher myself. And do you use all these incredible lively data you get from these operational groups do you use it for research? And if you do, what do you do with it? I mean, how do you document, and what's the research result of all this if you do use it for anything like that?
Well, the information of the operational group we can put in the chat. I think if you want to see the project, as you know, in the EAP are the information of all the operational group in Europe, but we can put in the chat our website, and in this website we have the link with the different operational group that we have participated. the information, well, as you know, for example, some information is for the improvement of the, for example, if the project participate at cooperative, this information are sharing with the integrant of the cooperative, and for example, to improve the way of management the fields, or maybe the industry process of the way of management the water. In some cases, we have developed a technical system to support to the decision for the farmer. In other one, we have do a manual to develop how can you produce your wine, or in some time we have the result of our project. In many cases, we have do, for example, a recommendation to modify the regulatory of the, for example, the production of the wines. In different projects we have in different operational group we have different results. Some scientific results, some very practical tool from the farm, from the cooperative, or for the regulatory and for the administration. So we have different ones.
Yes, and regarding the first question, how we make now the connection with the sector, we have a network now of farmers, of cooperative, of association of farmers, and then every year we go through them and we organize these interviews with them to classify. It's as simple as an Excel sheet. So please, we are in touch, but it's not only that you send it by mail. It's that you have a meeting in which you interact with them to identify this real need, the problem that they have.
I think the focus is to understand the main objective of the Agri-Food Campus. Is they 15 years ago they detected that in Spain the universities was very far from the sector, and the idea of the Agri-Food Campus is to promote the aggregation between institutions, the specialization in our case in agri-food, and to promote the interconnection between agri-food sector and researchers. So our role, we are not research. We promote the interconnection of our research with the agri-food sector. We are very close from the agri-food sector. So we think this operational group is a perfect way to promote this. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I think we need to move forward. Thank you so much, Lola and Nico. And yeah, there are many questions still in the chat, but let's get back to those in the end if we have time and somebody wanna say them still out loud. But yes, Simona, please, you can take over.
Yeah, thank you. So I will share the screen. I hope it works. Yeah, can you confirm it works? Okay.
Just to make it presentation.
Presentation mode.
Perfect.
So now, hello everybody. My name is Simona Ceto. I'm representing NSP Project. NSP Project is one of the partners of ATTRACTISS. We are a consulting company. Basically, we are an innovation support service. Our role is concretely to drive the innovation from the initial idea and research side towards the market. So this means that we support in terms of go-to-market strategies, in multi-actor approaches, in dissemination, in the exploitation plans, and so on. So today, when we discussed with the ATTRACTISS team about the potential speech for this webinar. So we decided to share with you how can we put the innovation under the lens. So we are talking about innovation, how to create the ideas, how to co-design the ideas, how to coach the ideas towards their implementations and the building of the networks and the cooperation with the right partners and so on. And this is part of the innovation process. So since we worked in this field since 20 years so far, we developed a specific tool, but the idea today is to share with you our approach. So in order to leverage the innovation potential of everything, we need to define some way to measure the value and the competitive advantage.
Did we lose Simona?
She seems to have frozen. And yeah.
Well, I think we'll need to wait for a second. Now it's a good time to stand up and shake a bit to get ready for the next part.
I mean, it can happen that she doesn't even realize if she has the
that's
slides
the
on.
problem.
Yeah, I'm kicking her out just to make sure that she realizes. Simona.
That's a good idea.
Remove from meeting.
The technology fails us again.
It's always the case.
I'm so sorry.
You're back.
I'm back, and
Yes.
I will share again my screen. I don't know what is happening.
No worries.
Always happens.
I'm sorry. Okay, and yeah, let's go on with. I will put it in. Okay, so the starting point is talking about the innovation. How can we deal and how can we manage the innovation and any kind of innovation development or R&D without considering what is the competitive landscape? So when we decide to innovate, so we decide to invest. We invest in terms of of knowledge, in terms of a lifetime, in terms of money. And so the investment is the first lever for long-term competitiveness. And yes, we need to talk also about this. And the first lever for margin growth. We notice that most projects still deliver without structured intelligence or on what the competitors or the incumbents are doing. And the work we have done so far demonstrated that from our analysis of 1,000 innovative R&D projects, what happens? That basically 90% sit at incremental innovation. And too often companies, yes, we need to talk about companies because we are talking about projects in which companies, farmers are involved with research organizations, with universities, with innovation support service organizations. But then at the end, the innovation need to be used by the company. Too often they lack competitive intelligence to go further. And too often they don't know where rivals are investing. And there is another issue. So which intellectual property spaces are open? So which are the white spaces available for them? And there is another issue, which are the technology trends they could act on. So this can help them to understand if they are on trend or if they need to change something. And based on this starting point, we identified some indicators that can help to measure the potential of an innovative project. So if we want to understand and to monitor if the projects will have concretely an impact on the specific sector, so we identified 5 specific indicators that we use in our approach, in our method to support the organizations. First of all, well, I suppose that all of you heard about this technology readiness level. It's the one that is used by the European Commission in all the Horizon Europe projects and not only on this field. But then we have we identified the innovation readiness level, the market readiness level, and then the competitive readiness level and the adoption readiness level. And you can see, besides that, there are some figures that are showing the benchmark of one specific case. So based on the ideal indicators, ideal positioning. So what's the positioning of a specific use case? So we developed this assessment framework because we consider that, first of all, of course, if in the innovation we are working on technologies, we need to understand how the technology is positioned at the beginning and what's the goal for the end of the project, and then above the end of the project itself. But we talked about, as Nico and Lola presented you before, we talked about how to create and enhance and build the idea and coach the process from the idea, for the boarding of one idea towards the implementation of. So we decided to adopt also a scale that will support to assess and accelerate the ideas from the conception stage to the market. Then the market readiness level, because this will keep an eye on the commercial issues. So we can understand if the product, the innovative product, is ready for commercial launch in the market. Then we have this lens on the positioning. So I mentioned before that too many projects don't take into account what's the who are the competitors in that specific market or in the niche of the specific market. So we measure through the specific scale the product positioning in a defined market. So we can fine-tune the strategy towards that specific market. And we also adopted the adoption readiness level. So we need to take into account also the non-technical dimensions. What is the value proposition? What's the market acceptance? Because too often, so, we are in love with a specific idea, but it's not for granted that will be accepted by the market, because probably there is something that needs to be modified before the launch of the product itself into the market. What's the resource maturity and the license to operate? So these indicators gave us the possibility also to evaluate the regulatory compliance of a specific innovation before launching it to the market. So I know that these indicators probably are something that, when you are developing a new product, a new idea, so you need to measure everything, but they can help in terms of risk reduction, because this way we can mitigate the market and the technical risks. We can validate if we have some investors. So Nico and Lola mentioned that sometimes or too often when the project sends, so there is still need for additional funding to go on with the results achieved until the end of the project. So if we are looking for investors and funders, so this funding validation is very useful because, first of all, you can self-assess, self-evaluate with this approach, the commercial viability and the maturity. And then you have a strategy, so the strategic planning, so that allows for better tracking and road mapping of future development steps. And again, so all these decisions we made was linked also to the fact that some recurring patterns came out in the analyzed project. So we have a gap between the TRL and the market, which is level, because companies focus on developing technologies. And then they forget to translate them into a real competitive advantage. So we need to consider that this issue is strategic. And too often it happens that there is an isolation of R&D. Because you have this R&D unit that too often is disconnected from the business strategy and the production processes. So we need to facilitate this process. And as also Nico and Lola said, the innovation support service role is also this, to facilitate the connection and the knowledge transfer. And there is also this pattern. What does it mean when we talk about latent IP? It's not good if there is a new technical know-how that is neither protected nor valorized. So this means that this is exposed to risk of imitation. And so this risks that all the expectations in terms of economic value are disattended. So, and then we have the pattern related to the dependence on the external trends. The sectors, the economic sectors, the agricultural sector, but it's a common behavior, react to trends instead of anticipating them. So this means that they are losing windows of opportunity. And so, as a key insight, so here you can see that only 10% of the project we analyze have a character of absolute innovation. Otherwise, we can talk about incremental innovation. And what does it mean in terms of practices? So when we analyze a project, starting from the concept idea, we check if there is an alignment of technology, innovation, and business goals. Here you can see that we are considering different factors. So there is the risk assessment, there is the regulation compliance, the commercial issues, the team and organization. So what does it mean? So when you are launching an innovation to the market, do you have the team ready? Do you have the team with the right competencies for this new pathway of the company itself? So, and this means that if we are monitoring these issues during the development of the project, we can correct and fine-tune everything before the launching of the project. So how is going on with the technology issues and the integration and so on and so on. So this allows us to have an overview in terms of ecosystems, risks, the target customers, the solutions, the problems, the impact assessment, and the business and financial model to be adopted. And with this analysis, we can get an innovation landscape. So we can get information about the competitive map. So who are the competitors or the incumbents and who we need to face with? We can understand where they invest in research and development. so we can understand how innovative we are. We can analyze the trend signals, so we can understand which technology topics are growing and at what speed. If we have an innovation, we can understand which patent clusters are active, where white spaces are. So this means that if we identify a white space, this means that we concretely will be innovative, and then we need to protect our innovation. And which are the publication and EU-funded projects that are focused on a specific innovation? Why this information is relevant for us? Because we can avoid to invest in something that is already been implemented, or that is already available on the market, or at least on the research side. So we can capitalize on the results of already achieved and go ahead starting from those results instead of doing everything starting from zero. And then we can provide an actionable roadmap with a phased investment plan, and this roadmap can be is provided also with the co-development partners. As Lola and Nico said before, there is one issue that is crucial for the innovation, so the network. When we talk about partners, so the partners are part of the network. So we need to identify the right partners to cooperate with for the success of our project. So this means that we can reduce risk, we can identify synergies, we can eventually adjust R&D plans, and this is very important. But we have the chance to identify scaling up measures after a project's end date. So we can start since the beginning, think what we do once the project will be finished. And all this work needs the fine-tuning of a consultant, so a representative of an innovation support service at each and every stage. We titled this presentation as an innovation lens because, well, you can adopt different lens depending on the need you need to match. You have to match. So you can have the lens, the partner lens. So we call it partners lens. Am I investing in the right direction? So if I need to define the strategy, the merging and due diligence, or an internal post-project R&D decisions, but it's also for once our operational group project is ended. So what can we do? So if we want to define the next steps, we can evaluate which are the competitor profiled by EBITDA and technology, part of the publication landscape, and the intellectual property white space identification. We can adopt the sector's lens because we can understand what is happening in our sector. So how our sector is, what's the behavior of our sector around a specific technology. So we can understand if the sector is aligned with the current R&D investment trends, and we can understand a little bit more in terms of large-scale exploitation. So we can think about how strong results of our project can be transferred to an entire sector. And then we have the technology challenge lens. So this means the question is my project providing proper answers to the R&D challenges I want to face? So we can understand if we have a right positioning for project result, and we can strengthen their value proposition and market added value. So I mentioned added value. What does it mean? So thanks to this approach, we can identify the project strengths and weaknesses, of course, and we can do an initial strategic assessment. We can have the analysis of the competitors, top leaders, top same size, and top same challenge peers. Considering the EBITDA benchmarks and strategic positioning, we can have the overview of the technology clusters, the IP situation, and the actionable filing priorities. We have the scientific know-how because we can analyze the publications, the funded projects, knowledge gaps, and identify the mobility corridors. We can have in this landscape the trend analysis, as I told you before. So this means that we can understand the investment timing to be used to measure risks and opportunities of an initiated project. And the last part of the added value of this approach is a long-term roadmap. So after the project end, we have defined the priority strategic actions, the partner shortlist, and we can have a semester by semester plan. This is the approach we wanted to share with you in our daily work. So it's something that is going to leveraging what already Nicolas and Lola said, because this is, innovation and how to understand if I'm going in the right way to achieve my goals.
Thank you so much, Lola. And Simona, I mean, still in the before.
Don't worry.
In the presentation. Yeah, thanks so much. Very interesting setup, and thanks for sharing it. And I think it also sparked quite some interest in the participants. I will only ask one question now because we will have to go through to the next presentation to have time enough. But we can come back to the other questions or comments in the end of the webinar, hopefully. So could you quickly just elaborate a bit how you see the difference between the market readiness level and the competitiveness level? That was one of the questions.
Yeah, sure. Well, when we talk about the market level, we talk about the commercial launch. So this means that how the market is ready for the acceptance, of the innovation you are providing to it. The competitive readiness level is focused on the positioning on a defined market.
Thank you. I hope that clarified it for everyone. So I think we will move to the last presentation now, and then we will come back to the questions. And a tip for the participants, if you want to make sure your question will be answered, just raise your hand after the last presentation, so to make sure that it will be heard and addressed. But please, Gustav, you are free to share your screen.
Okay. I'm not sharing my screen yet. Just a second. Okay. Can you hear me, see me fine?
Yes, it's good.
Right. Hi, everyone. I was approached by Krista Magoc, my all-time friend, to come and talk with you. And she asked me to talk about how social innovation was supported in this project I've been doing in Hungary. Actually, I'm in a unique situation. I'm a researcher myself, so but at the same, I work for an economic research institute as a sociologist and economist, but I'm an action researcher at the same time. So normally I do projects and I reflect on them as a researcher. And in this case, it was the same. I was very, very lucky. I had an ongoing research on innovation brokering with small producers in Hungary. And then on top of that, we won this EIP project, which was actually the action part of the action research. So it was it was very lucky. I had a bit more resources and time for reflection and learning from it. I use participatory filmmaking in most of my projects. So I've done a small documentary of this project as well. And I thought it was better for you to see for yourself what was happening. So please, Maria, will you share it? It's like 9 minutes. And after the movie, I come back and I tell you about the legacy of the project, and we can discuss some important questions if you want. Please.
Yes, I will share this video. Just let me know if just a second, I have to do it again. I didn't include the sounds, so let's do it again.
Please make it full screen. Yeah.
Yes.
I hope the subtitles will work.
Sorry. And once more, the correct one. Where?
Az ESTVET során a kistermelők munkáját és értékesítését segítő megoldásokat, szervezeti és informatikai innovációkat kerestünk. A projektet az Európai Innovációs Partnerségi Program támogatta, és 2021 óta a Rural BT irányítja Balatonfelvidéki kistermelők és a Közgazdaságtudományi Intézet munkatársainak részvételével. A munka mélyreható kutatással kezdődött, interjúk, műhelymunkák, résztvevő megfigyelés révén tártuk fel a kistermelők legfőbb problémáit, próbáltuk kideríteni, hogy milyen területeken van a legnagyobb szükség innovációra, új megoldásokra és tudásokra. A kutatás során 2 olyan terület rajzolódott ki, ahol esélyünk volt segíteni. Az első az ellenőrzésekhez kapcsolódó adminisztratív terhek enyhítése. Ez minden termelőnek nyűg probléma. Az ESTVET projektben ezért elindítottuk a felirom.hu fejlesztését. Ez az internetes applikáció nagy segítséget jelent majd a termeléshez és értékesítéshez kapcsolódó kötelező adatgyűjtésben és az üzleti tervezésben egyaránt. A másik terület az üzleti, vállalkozási stratégia építéséhez és az értékesítéshez kapcsolódó egyes tudások és képességek hiánya volt. Ezek enyhítésére tudásnapokat, tréningeket szerveztünk, és kistermelői jó gyakorlatokat bemutató videókat forgattunk. Ez a film összefoglalja és bemutatja a projekt fő eredményeit és hatásait. A tudásnapokon, tréningeken résztvevő kistermelők elismert szakértőktől kaptak információt, személyes tanácsadást, és műhelymunkákon gyakorolták az ismeretek alkalmazását. Az első tudásnap témája a falusi vendégasztal volt. Ez a kiegészítő szolgáltatás jó lehetőség a bevétel növelésére, ugyanakkor a bonyolult szabályozás sok buktatót is rejt a termelők számára. A tudásnapra a Kislépték Egyesület szakértője és egy sikeres vállalkozó mellett azt a körzeti főállatorvost is meghívtuk, aki a vendégasztalok ellenőrzéseit végzi. Az előadások, beszélgetések után a résztvevők a gyakorlatban is kipróbálták a vendégasztal tervezését. Talán erről az eseményről kaptuk a legtöbb pozitív visszajelzést, a tréningen kapott tudást felhasználva többen indítottak vendégasztal szolgáltatást a gyakorlatban is. A többi tudásnapot is hiánypótló témákban szerveztük. Volt szó árazásról, üzleti tervezésről, menedzsmenteszközök használatáról. Élményparaszt tréning címen az élményturizmusba, kóstolók, tematikus napok szervezésébe vezettük be a résztvevőket, de tartottunk képzést online marketingről és a közösségi média használatáról is. Az elméleti ismereteket mindig gyakorlati foglalkozás követte, a termelők közben egymástól is sokat tanultak, kicserélték tapasztalataikat, bemutatták termékeiket, tevékenységüket, kapcsolatokat kötöttek, együttműködéseket, üzleteket kezdeményeztek.
Hogy igen, miért pont a lekvár? Ez egy ilyen gyerekkori nagy szerelem, szerintem megint elég édesszájú vagyok, úgyhogy...
ennyit tudok beszélni a kenyérsütésről. Úgyhogy.
A szélesebb közönség elérése érdekében 5 termelő jó gyakorlatairól készítettünk videókat. A lekvárfőzőtől, a péken és a borászon keresztül a saját termékekre épített lakásétteremig különböző termelőket mutattunk be. A filmekben olyan kérdésekre keresünk választ, hogy mi a vállalkozás története, milyen ötletre, előforrásokra épül, mi teszi jövedelmező, megélhetést nyújtó üzletté, miben egyedi, innovatív a tevékenység, vagy mi benne a nehéz, és miért jó csinálni.
Én úgy nőttem föl, hogy láttam, hogy a szüleim hogy kertészkedtek. Folyamatosan azt éreztem a multivilágban, hogy nagyon jó munkahelyem van, és nagyon sok pénzt keresek, de mégsem tesz boldoggá.
Nagyon sok munkát levesz az ember válláról.
Most gumicukor kísérletezésben vagyok. Gumicukrot fogok csinálni.
Ez a kézműves pékségnek a menedzselése az olyan, mint ezek a tányérzsonglőrök, hogy így megpörgetik a tányérokat, és akkor egy csomó ilyen rúdon törődnek a tányérok, és néha leesik, akkor azt vagy elkapja, vagy nem.
Ezzel indult, ugye ez a klasszikus lekvárom, ez a 370 ml-es, ez a normál kiszerelés.
Függetlenséget ad, önállóságot ad, erőt is ad, én azt gondolom.
Ezt a szakmát sem kerül el az adminisztráció, mindegyiket sem. Tehát nekünk is kell azért olyan listákat vezetni, amiket bármikor kérhetnek. Ez az egyik, a másik meg az, hogy jó, ha az ember tudja, hogy mit, mennyiből és mennyiért csinálja.
Egy kistermelőnek nem csak kötelező, de hasznos is a saját tevékenységéről részletes adatokat gyűjteni. Ellenőrzéskor számot kell adni arról, hogy pontosan mit, miből, mikor állított elő, és azt mikor és hol értékesítette. Ehhez jön új elemként 2024-től a felhasznált csomagolóanyagok pontos nyilvántartása. A termelők javarésze az adatokat legfeljebb kockás füzetben vezeti, sokszor rendszertelenül, aztán ebből próbálja rekonstruálni a tevékenységét egy ellenőrzéskor vagy a következő év üzleti tervezésénél. Mindez nehézkes, időigényes, ráadásul sok értékes információ elvész vagy nehezen hozzáférhető. Egy piaci ellenőrzés során például nehéz elővenni az értékesített árukhoz tartozó termékadatlapokat. Sok árufajta, esetleg több elárusítóhely esetén ez több száz oldalas, folyamatosan aktualizált dokumentációt jelent, itt nagy szükség van a digitalizációra. Ha az emlékek helyett több év pontos adataira hagyatkozhat a termelő, az a munkacsúcsok tervezésében, a termékfejlesztésben, árazásban, vagy a beruházások rangsorolásában is támpontot nyújt, de olyan egyszerű dolgokban is segíthet, hogy mikor rendeljen be fűtésüveget. A felirom.hu a mindennapos adatgyűjtéshez ad könnyen használható digitális jegyzetfüzetet.
A programot használó termelőnek szükséges lesz felvinni a törzsadatait, így a személyes adatait, a használt alapanyagait, megtermesztett alapanyagait és a vásárolt alapanyagokat egyaránt, az ezekből állított késztermék törzsadatbázist, az ezekhez tartozó recepteket. A törzsadatbázis rögzítése során asztali számítógép, laptop használatát javasoljuk, illetve így is terveztük a programot, mivel itt nagy mennyiségű adatrögzítéséről van szó. A napi tevékenység rögzítését viszont úgy terveztük, hogy mobiltelefonról legyen jól használható, hiszen az a célunk, hogy ez nagyon könnyű legyen, ne akadályozza a napi munkát. A telefon mindig nálunk van, így a piacon, az előállító helységben is elő tudjuk venni, és néhány perc alatt föl tudjuk majd vinni, hogy mit végeztünk éppen el. A programnak jelenleg egy tesztverziója van készen, amiben alapvetően minden általunk tervezett funkció már lefejlesztésre került. Jelenleg a továbbfejlesztése zajlik, illetve a mobiltelefonos optimalizálás.
Sok mindennel kell egy kis termelőnek megküzdenie, és ha egy ilyen segítséget készen kap, akkor szerintem sok-sok munkaórától kíméli meg magát.
Ennek az ESZVET projektnek a rendezvényei közül szerintem majdnem az összesen részt vettem, és nagyon hasznos volt. Rengeteg ilyen gyakorlati, azonnal használható tudást adtak.
Tőletek olyan programokat kapnak, amit a saját bőrükön éreznek, hogy a hasznukra, a fejlődésükre, az épülésükre válik.
Úgy gondolom, hogy nagyon jól sikerült ez a rendezvény, hiszen az rövidellátási lánc több szereplője itt volt. Nem csak alapanyagtermelők, hanem feldolgozók, sőt vendéglátók. akik hajlandóságot is mutattak arra, hogy a jövőben együttműködjenek.
A rendezvényre azért jöttem, mert keresem a kooperációs együttműködési lehetőségeket. Közelebb kerültem ahhoz, hogy a helyi termelőkkel esetleg tudjak közös gondolkodást folytatni.
Ezt a közösségi oldalt én azt mindenképpen hazaviszem, meg a jogi tanácsokat, az adózást és az összes többit.
És egyébként én nagyon örülök, hogy ennek részese lehetek.
Okay, thank you very much. I will share my screen now, if that's okay. I try at least. Can you see it now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, so basically, yeah, I hope the film talked for itself. This was a really very nice project. I really enjoyed doing it. We started it with a very thorough research, lots of interviews and workshops with small producers about how they can go onto market and what are the limitations and problems they have, and how someone coming from outside could help with that at all. And originally we had a completely different idea. We wanted to create an application which follows their activities and tells them what they spend their time with, mainly, because most small producers have actually no idea about their time and effort investment in their activities. But then, as it turned out, for technical reasons and for other things, it wasn't actually possible. And then we changed, and basically we identified these knowledge gaps. So and created the trainings. And then we did consultation, personal advice, and the best practice films, and then this smartphone application for administration. We all the way. I mean, we had like 3 years work in this, almost 4 years, and we met hundreds of small producers and had, I don't know, more than 20 occasions when they could meet each other. And I think one of the biggest achievement was to help them to develop networks and connections between each other. So this doesn't appear. It did appear in the film, but it doesn't appear in the indicators of the program. But I think that was a big thing. So until today, we meet people on the ground who remember have nice memories about what happened and tell them how they enjoyed it. But the thing we wanted to take forward really for the future was this application, felirom.hu, which was like a smart notebook for the producers to register their own data, basically. So this gave them an up-to-date overview of their production and their selling, and that gives several different kinds of help. One was for the possibility to access data for inspections when they have inspections, which does happen in Hungary. This is a big thing. This is what most of them mentioned as something they would need. But on the other hand, we hoped the application to help them in business planning and planning their work, planning their inputs and their outputs and everything else. So this was where we got to, but we had lots of ideas how to develop further this application. And yeah, we had lots of ideas, like including you could use this application for the organization of short food chains and buying circles and farmers markets, and we could even have made a web shop and all kinds of other things. Another direction, we had quite strong interest from other countries, from Romania, from Croatia. We had some negotiations how we could extend this application to other languages, and it was all in the pipeline. We launched the application 2 years ago, a bit more than 2 years ago, in the Hungarian short food chain expo with a lot of interest. We went with it to a big European gathering to Portugal. Probably some of you attended that meeting. Maybe it was a big meeting of rural innovation, and a lot of EIP projects were there. From Hungary, we were the only project which was there. And we had a lot of other Hungarians, like from research networks and the ministry and research institutes, but actual EIP operational group, we were the only one representing Hungary. So I think this was a really well working and good project. Why did it work? I think the real basic thing was that we had a big research at the beginning. So we actually identified real problems and real things these people needed. And also during the research, we made lots of contacts. So we had a big pool of people when we were searching for small producers to start this project with. But this wouldn't have been possible without my researcher background and also the research funding we had, because the EIP funding didn't really have that capacity. And then we continued close cooperation with these people all the way. And we found people and organizations with very high competencies in supporting our work. I mean, one very important one was it's a civil organization called Kis Lépték, like small step or something like that, would be the translation. And they helped us a lot in the training phase, and which was a big thing. This guy on the picture with the small bird, he's a small producer, but he's also an information technologist. So he's an urban refugee who understood both words. Because otherwise these digitalization programs often fail because the coders don't really understand what the producers would like, and there is an almost impossible job to translate between them. So we had this guy which helped a lot. Also, if we wanted to stick to our original idea, it would have been a disaster. So we really had to be flexible enough to change the course of what we were doing. And also like having additional funding. Apart from the research funding, we had some other smaller grants. Like we had something like 10,000 euros from the Teen Lab program, which was a social innovation support program in Hungary, and some other minor things as well. Without that, we wouldn't have been able to get as far as we did. But what we did not have, so I think this project was really good and we did really well, but it didn't fulfill its potentials at all. And the reason for that was that we ran out of funding. So before we still have all the digital tools on a pilot version. So it was never actually finished because we ran out of money and time. To actually develop the application wasn't included in the original EIP budget because it was impossible. We didn't know what we wanted. At the beginning, we started with the research, so we didn't really know what we wanted end up with as a result. So this is the nature of innovation, but we would have had to say exact numbers for the budget for each item we wanted to develop. So it was like a bit of a contradiction within the system. So we didn't have the money for developing, and it wouldn't have been enough money anyway. And we didn't have another EIP call for the past 9 years in Hungary, so it was not possible to continue. And without
Gustav,
yes?
I will need to speed up a bit with you.
All right,
we are running out of time.
These are my last sentences. So what we would need is some more money to raise. I tried everything, but it never happened. And finally, to develop a business model which will make it possible to have a system that maintains itself. So I'm big fond of European funding, but at the end of the day, if we want something that actually works for the long run, it has to be in a business environment where we can put some financial and human capital input at the beginning, but then it needs to be self-maintaining. That was it from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and sorry for rushing up with you.
It's okay.
It seems like we have had so active discussion already and nice presentations that our time is almost done. Thank you so much for the presentations, all the presentations. We can have a quick question for Gustav still, if somebody want to open the microphone. Anyone?
Yeah, Gustav already answered my question. It's Paul Daniels from the Netherlands. I will switch on my camera. You already answered my question, and I actually am also seeing a lot of this kind of initiatives rising, and sadly enough also falling in the Netherlands. And I see that the commitment is great as long as there is budget and funding from all kinds of projects and EU, of course. But it's I am aware now that it can also lead to pretty big disappointment at farm level when after a couple of years it fails, and we really should more engage without all this funding in this kind of projects.
I think the policy should include some kind of possibility for continuation, like maintaining at least for some time period, like a phasing out period. We would definitely need.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Policy is not continuously the same. Policy goes from left to right to left to right to left to right, and farmers have to keep alive, go on and on and on and on. So Absolutely. They need stability. But nevertheless, also when these initiatives come and go, they always leave awareness at consumer level. And that's at least something.
Thanks, Paul, for the comment, and all good questions and ideas and sharing that has happened in this webinar. Very happy to see so active participation. Thanks for that. And I'm sorry we didn't have time for all the questions. Please feel free to also, I hope it's fine to say the contact also the presenters if you have direct questions for them still that you want to get an answer to. And of course, you can continue the discussion also in the forum. And Marlene?
That's what I wanted to say. I wanted to mention the forum.
Okay, good. So we are on the same track. So please leave us feedback. Here is a QR code. There was a link in the chat. And stay tuned for the next webinars. The next one is in May, organized by the Modern ATTRACTISS project about how the energy can be turned into income and how the ATTRACTISS is supporting these farmers on this one. And yes, I think that's all. Anna, do you have some final words that you want to share?
Nothing, just to thank everyone. This was so interesting. And I've left all the relevant links in the chat, but we will also be sharing the info in a follow-up email. So Thank you everyone
Yes.
for joining.
Thank you.
Thanks so much and enjoy
Bye-bye.
the rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.